Hello and welcome back to Pride of All Europe TV. Just reviewing the game from Upton Park at the weekend as it was a tough fought draw away at West Ham. A late goal salvaged a point. Not really sure that it was deserved. I've got quite split opinions on the game, if I'm honest. Let's start by the lineup. Looking at the lineup, Van Gaal opted for. He went for 4-4-2, and I've got to say, before the game, with the likes of Van Persie, Falcao, Rooney, Di Maria, and Januzaj all starting, there was no problems from me at all. I looked at the lineup and I thought, yeah, that's good enough to win here. Rojo and Jones, playing centre half together, all those attacking options. We've got enough to create something. There's a lot of skill in that side, and we should go on and get the 3 points. But the first half was just awful. There was, we didn't do anything. We was very slow. We was lifeless. There wasn't enough width. We just didn't create. West Ham were dangerous. West Ham, you know what you're going to get with West Ham. Now, I've got to dispute the fact that they're not one of them sides like everybody expects Allardyce to put out, where they just kick you up in the air. There's more to West Ham than that these days. They've got some very good players down there. They've got some very quick attacking players as well. And their game plan wasn't just to ruffle our feathers at all. It was to get down the channels, it was to get behind the defenders, it was to really stretch our defence all over the place, because as everybody knows, we've had a few defensive problems, and they've done just that. West Ham were of good value for their lead as Kouyaté scored in the 49th minute. Midfielder playing centre half. I'll come back to this in a little while, but he brought the ball down in the box and volleyed it home. Now, the goal took a deflection, which wasn't great, but how he was allowed that much time to bring the ball down, do a bit of keepy-uppy in the box and score is beyond me. But obviously Daley Blind went on to equalise really late on, and I've got to say it was no more than we deserved, because after West Ham did go one up, from the 50th minute till the end of the game, there was far more pace about our play. We was passing like we meant it, we was running at them, we was pulling their defenders all over the place. There was so much more urgency. It took us to go a goal down before we actually got our finger out, and I've got to say I was very impressed with the way we was going forward from the moment West Ham scored. Looking at our strikers, Van Persie and Falcao failed to find the net again. Falcao had a chance, it looked like a gilt-edged chance. Perhaps he didn't have as much time as people thought, but still, a striker that's supposedly worth 45 million, you've got to be burying that. For Van Persie, the keeper made a couple of good saves for his chances, but again, it was within 12 yards of the goal. Maybe he should have been finding the net as well. So I wasn't too impressed with our strikers. It has been flagged up by many media outlets, many fans, everyone on Twitter, that Van Persie and Falcao don't really offer much more than in and around the box. They don't run down the channels. They don't hold up the ball very well. They don't. When they do come to feet, they're not great at receiving it, and then they don't go on to create anything. So perhaps it's an idea that only one or the other plays. It'd be good to see Rooney go back up top, because I'm not quite sure it's working out for him in midfield. Now, I've got to hold my hands up, and this is me being honest. I was championing the idea of Rooney dropping back to midfield. It worked for Paul Scholes, who started his younger days as an attacker, went back to centre midfield, became the best centre midfield the Premier League's ever seen. I thought it could work for Rooney, but it's just not quite happening. Now, he does love his glory passes, his 50-yard cross-field balls, and sometimes they work and sometimes they look great, but you don't need to do that every single time. There seems to be something wrong with his reactions. He's not quick enough. He one and two touch football he's not very good at. He needs a lot of time on the ball. I'd like to see Rooney push back up top. He can score. We all know he's a good goal scorer. It's not working between Van Persie and Falcao, so maybe put Rooney with one of them for the upcoming fixture against Burnley. There's been a lot of talk about long ball United. Sam Allardyce after the game came out and said that his West Ham side couldn't defend against long ball United. They were missing defenders Collins and Reed, which are two of their better centre halves. So they had a makeshift defender in there. So why not? Why not launch the ball in? 20 minutes to go. Fellaini come on. We started pumping the ball into the box and we scored. Now, a lot of big teams get criticised because they haven't got a plan B. Liverpool thoroughly criticised because they never have a plan B. It's pass, pass, pass. Arsenal, until recent weeks, if you forget about the Man City game where they went up there, let City have all the possession but then ended up winning 2-0, before that, Arsenal, and Arsene Wenger in particular, has always been criticised for not adapting and changing his tactics to what's happening in the match. they've never developed it. And for us, I'm glad that he changed it. It wasn't working, so he went for the long ball. He put on a big player, I went for the long ball, and we got a point out of it. We haven't actually got a plan A at the moment. That's been flagged up by everyone. But as far as it goes, launching the ball into the box and getting a late equaliser in a very sort of old-fashioned plan B style type of football doesn't bother me at all. If it's not working, change it. That's what he done, and that's what happened. I thought Rojo again was good at the back. Those West Ham strikers are very fast, very powerful, and I thought he dealt with them very well. He's really looking to sort of cement his place as our first choice centre half now, and I like that. It took Vidic a long time to establish himself in the side. Rio not so much, but I think, you know, Rojo being in and out of the team with injuries, get a run of games from now till the end of the season, centre half every single week, and I think he'll be a top defender next year. I wanted to have just a word about Clattenburg. I was really mean about him, if you like. I was very critical of him after the Leicester game when he awarded them a bunch of penalties, when he sent off our player. And when I saw that he was reffing the game at West Ham on Sunday, I was worried because he's given 6 penalties against us in the last 3 games. He loves sending off our players. He does like taking centre stage. He's one of those referees that wants to be more important than the footballers. But I've got to hold my hands up and say I thought Clattenburg was absolutely outstanding on Sunday. I know Luke Shaw saw red at the end, but you can't argue with it. That both were bookable offences. I thought Clattenburg, he let a lot of tackles go, which a lot of refs would have pulled people up for. He let the game flow. You know, I think one of the commentators, when I saw the highlights on Sunday night after getting back from the game, one of the commentators mentioned that Clattenburg was treating it like a man's game. There was a lot of confrontation, a lot of tough tackling, and I thought it was a great refereeing performance. My only small criticism of him is in the first minute, Alex Song brought down Januzaj and he didn't book him. Any other time of the game, that would have been a booking. Now, from the totting up procedure and persistent fouling, Alex Song would have then eventually gone on to see red later in the game. Now, I don't know why he didn't book Song then. I know you can't set a precedent for getting out a card straight away because then everyone have to be booked, but it was a clear yellow card. Now, if Luke Shaw got sent off for the 2 tackles he made, the 2 fouls he made, and I'm not arguing that it was a red card because it was, I think Song possibly should have seen red at some stage in the game as well. But nonetheless, that's my only small criticism. Clattenburg, well done mate, very good performance. I'm happy with a point at the end of the day. City have lost down there and Liverpool have lost down there. West Ham are a bloody good team these days, especially at their own ground. So I'm content to come away with a point. The first half performance wasn't great. We sometimes don't look like we know what we're doing, but I felt once West Ham scored, we looked good. If we could take that second half performance into this Burnley game this week, I'm pretty confident it's going to be 3 or 4-0. Now, looking at man of the match, it'd be easy to give it to Daley Blind for scoring a late goal, but I'm actually going to give it to Rojo because, like I said a couple of minutes ago, I think he's becoming a real solid player. He loves the tackle, he loves the argy-bargy of it, he loves getting involved, but he's also a very good footballer as well. So sooner rather than later, I think he'll be in with a shout for being captain. If he can learn the lingo, I really do, you know. But yeah. Let me know what you thought of this video. I'm on Twitter if you want to respond to me directly. It's at Nathon W. That's at NATHONW. And speak to all the guys on Pride of All Europe. There's a few of us floating around online. So yeah, keep in touch and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Cheers. See you later.